Hey everybody, so I thought I would take you through kind of what I do in terms of my annual spending plan. Now, some may call it a budget. It definitely has the components of a budget, but I like to look at this and use it as a broad overview of kind of the inflows and outflows. And this is purely forecast, right? Purely projection, educated guess. I use my paycheck budgets for the actual things that are coming in, especially if my paycheck fluctuates. My main paycheck, actually my main paycheck and my side hustle paycheck is on the contractual basis, so there is some fluctuations there, but I like to be very conservative, so you'll see the numbers straight through. And I'll just take it through it real quick. We start out with the income portion. I do color code. I'm very visual, so I like to be able to see and have certain things called out almost immediately. So as you'll see, I go the entire month and the entire year. Yeah, here we go. So I go the entire year, starting off with income. I do paycheck 1, 2, and 3. I have that because I get paid bi-weekly, so 2 months out of the year I will technically have 3 paychecks. Side hustle income is kind of seasonal for me. Tax refund, especially if I'm going to use that tax refund to pay a bill. If I'm not using it to pay a bill or fund to put in a sinking fund, then it wouldn't be reflected on here. Like say, hubby to be and I decide that we're going to totally use it for household expenses, it wouldn't be on here. And that's another caveat. This is only my personal expenses or savings. This does not include anything that hubby and I do together or household expenses. So this is just a very specific picture. And I have to tell you, I've been using this model probably almost for 20 years now, if you can believe it. A girlfriend of mine at my first full-time job, this is how she did her budget, and I was totally kind of dumbfounded, like, why wouldn't I do that? We're in finance, we're in business. Why wouldn't we use spreadsheets and track our own business? We use it all day to help somebody else build their business. And so I had a very kind of paper pen, which is not bad because I still use paper and pen for certain things. But I didn't have a clear picture. And I love this because it helps me map in things like contributions to personal vacations or kids. Really, the sinking funds and the cash envelopes, the things that are more variable, this really helps me see how to fund those things and how they'll flow, impacting my income and expenses that are more steady and stable. So, excuse me. So the 3 paychecks, the side hustle, tax refunded if I get it. Unplanned, I have this in here because I do have one particular asset that I am thinking about liquidating. I have not started that process yet, but I think I will. So that's why I put that out to March. And it may go out even further. This is a fluid document, and I have that because I do have student loans, and I was thinking I don't really need this asset. It's not really serving my purposes. So if I turn it in, I can use this to help pay off my student loans faster. Flexible spending. I do get reimbursed for some expenses throughout the year. So also that I have kind of scheduled out. It is seasonal. So again, this is a rough estimate. It is not exactly how it will go. And then I also put in, because it is significant for me this year, my student loan sinking fund. I specifically put that in there because federal student loans start in May, repayment. I had this, and actually I could take this out right now because January, February, and March I was going to start paying, but I'm actually not. But you'll see that I'm still holding on to that money, and so it's really quick and easy for me to just say, oh, this is not going to start till later, and actually just be on the safe side, let's put it in the month of May as well. So now I know, based on what's going on, I have an outflow of this sinking fund at $6,000. I actually don't have $6,000 in here, so this is a great way to look and say, I have about 4,500. So now I know if I just use my sinking fund as is with no other money added, I can take care of my student loan for 6 months. I would still need November and December. That helps me plan, and I know that information almost immediately, right? So then we have giving. This giving number right now is based off of 10%. It's a formula off of the total income. Again, that will fluctuate based on the fact if I actually get this income in the course of the month. Then I move on to expenses in blue, or bills rather. So my bills, auto expenses, car note, car insurance, and gas. Again, estimate. So my car note is actually not this much, but I overpay it. Same thing. My car insurance is pretty accurate, but that's because I have like several cars on it, so it is what it is. And we're going to work to get that down as well. My daughter may be getting her own insurance. Kids expenses, so daycare, speech therapy for JoJo, and any activities. So basketball, gymnastics, any of the things that he's doing right now, it is blank. Dad takes care of a lot of that, but again, I need to make sure that I at least have the placeholder so it's in my mind as I'm thinking about my budget. Let's see. Then we go to insurance and education. So I have 529 accounts for both of the kids. And actually, I think this is inaccurate. And so one of the things I want us to be mindful of too is because it's for a month, that month equals 2 paychecks. So anything that is coming out of my account, so really it's like JoJo gets $50 in his 529 every 2 weeks. So it's really $100 for the month. So this is also another good exercise in making sure that the numbers are accurate. And then you really know what's going on. So I'm not going to go into why I have so much life insurance, but I do have a lot. Some of it is going away. And this is not any type of insurance or financial or legal advice, but I have known what it's like to unexpectedly get laid off from a job many, many, many years ago. And I realized when my kids were young and actually only had one child at the time, that if something had happened to me at that point in time, because my life insurance was tied to my employer, that she would not have an educational fund. She would there would not be enough money to take care of my household. So in that time, while I was doing contract work, I secured several types of life insurance for myself and my family, just to make sure. And now as we are more secure, as the kids are getting older, the need for as much insurance, in our opinion, is lessening. So that's why we're going to revisit that. So I would encourage you to talk to your professionals about what makes sense for you. Then I had credit cards. Now, as you can see, your girl had, how many cards is this? 10. I had 10 credit cards, and I told you I've been using this template for a very long time. So when I started this, the number of cards and the type of cards I've had have fluctuated over time. But because now I do not close credit cards, I maintain credit because it helps my credit score and so on and so forth. But I do keep them on here because I make sure I remind myself. I think I paid them all off last year with the exception of my Amex Gold is the card. And actually this has changed. Now it's not gold anymore. It's been updated. I'll just leave it as Amex. So I have 2. This Amex I put my daughter on, so now she is building credit, and I allow her to use it while she's at school for gas and any unexpected expenses so that she doesn't have to stress that, and then I can see the expense and then we just take care of it. So it's a win-win for everybody. And then the other Amex I use for some of the expenses you'll see here, and then I pay myself back. So we get points. We're having a destination wedding. I plan on using much, if not all of those points to secure travel and different things. But I also use this because it reminds me too that after a certain period of time, I will periodically put an expense on my card just to keep it active. So most of the time, my overstock card I'll use for like patio furniture or outside decor. In the summertime, I'll put an expense on it, pay it right off. TJ Maxx is normally something I would do around holidays or birthdays to get gifts, pay it right off. So yeah, but I'm very proud of myself because really the only standing bill I have is $6.91, and that definitely wasn't the case before. So this is also a great way to give a picture of your credit. And then we move on to sinking funds. So there is flexibility with sinking funds and priority with them. So right now you'll see the wedding, hubby, JoJo, dues, taxes, all the things that I normally go through in my cash stuff and videos. I also make sure they're here because if, this also helps me manage again, the inflows and outflows. Some sinking funds, like for example, if my dues are due and they're paid at the end of the year, this is an ongoing one, so I don't zero it out at the end of the year. I may decide for January, February, March, maybe, that I'm not gonna stuff those sinking funds so I can focus on something else. So this gives me that. And then I move on to student loans. Student loans was a separate thing for me. So my private student loan I had been paying all along. Again, many of these amounts are not the actual dollar amounts. I just choose to pay more, at least a little bit more. My grandmother always told me that I just pay a little bit more in everything, but it also lets me see like how much is going out. So at any given time right now, we're looking at loan payments in excess of, we're talking about $1,800 at the height, $1,000. So again, it also helps me make some choices in terms of what do I need to prioritize. If I make additional money, where does that need to go? And this is going to help me in having the money conversations that I have with hubby. And then we move on to cash envelopes. I really don't keep a lot of cash envelopes. They're mainly my hair and nails and feet, any beauty expenses. Eating out technically should go up there, but because I don't consistently eat out in terms of daytime, like lunch, I put it as an other expense because I can definitely bring lunch from home, and I'm trying to get this down to like $20 a week or every 2 weeks because it's really not necessary. And then other expenses, so like the radio for the car, again, technically it could go up in auto expenses, but this is not a necessity. This is a luxury. So if at any point I decide, we don't need to do this, it's my car and my daughter's car, we can take care of that. A website, music, so it's more like entertainment and those types of things, and then co-pays for counseling. So then I have all my expenses added up. I have my income number up top, less my expense number, and now I can start to see what's going on. So right now I haven't really gone through this budget yet, but I can start to see, okay, well look, we're in the negative, and I put a savings number in here. So when everything else is done, I have additional savings. So let's see if I take my savings number out, because that might have been my number from last year. Numbers get a little bit better. Still a negative $300. So now I would need to look and see, where did I say that money was coming from, or what would need to be adjusted. So I'm not going to go through that whole process right now, but I do it every month. And then anything else I have is in savings, and this is what remains. And then I actually divide it by 2 because again, I get paid bi-weekly. So if I have, like, for example, $1,600 left over, which is a lot, so that means I have $843.57 to essentially spend and or save in the course of that 2 weeks. So I highlight anything that looks exceptional. All of these things look exceptional, so that would tell me I need to look back. I try to make my inflows and outflows over time as steady as possible. I don't really like to have months of crazy amounts of money and then months where I'm super tight, down to the last $100. So I really try to flatten it out, and this annual spending plan allows me to do so. And then I would create one, especially once we are officially married. I would be creating one for our household. I kind of have a loose one, but I don't necessarily do it this way. And if we should decide to fully combine our incomes together and operate in that space, we'll do one for that, because he has some different expenses obviously than I have. So I hope this was helpful for you. I feel like I've seen people share, and it's definitely given me ideas as to how to tweak this. Like I said, the sinking funds, I never put sinking funds in here, but why wouldn't you, right? If that's part of your savings and you're budgeting for it. So now I can see. And then of course, by the time we get married in August, that sinking fund may no longer be stuffed, or it may be stuffed because we might have charged something and we just want to make sure we pay it all back. Because like I told you in my goals for the year, is that this wedding is paid for in full, whether that's fully cash funded, or if I have to charge anything, that all bills are paid in full by December 31st. We will not go into the next year or celebrate a 1-year anniversary with bills. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. Definitely enjoy talking it out. If you want to see more things like this, please let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.